SilkCityHotSauce.com. Why am I yelling? SilkCityHotSauce.com. You know it. I talk about it every week. What the fuck is your problem? Get the Silk City Hot Sauce now. Use the promo code Zumock. Get 15% off your order and buy my goddamn hot sauce. The number one selling hot sauce at Silk City. Bob Bickerstaff doesn't have shit on me. Fuck you, Aaron Berg. SilkCityHotSauce.com. Florida's greatest tropical sauce. Mango Madness. It's my sauce. I'm looking at a bottle. I'm out, Jeff Levine. That's how fast this thing is fucking selling. So send me some more hot sauce and you go buy my hot sauce and sign up to my goddamn Patreon. I think if I start yelling at people, you're going to start doing it. So go sign up for my fucking Patreon already. It's $3 a month. It's 12 fucking quarters. I don't know. It's taking so goddamn long. It's the best way you can support a comedian in a pandemic. So bonus content. You get the episode a week early. Go sign up. Patreon.com/sitdownzumock. Let's get the show started. All right, Sit Down Zumock podcast. It's Florida's greatest. Tyler, are you familiar with James Renner?
I am, only by virtue of you, but since then have done a little bit of research, not a lot, but I mean, I love it.
There it is, James.
James, you just seem to be, right up my alley.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I should grab my earbuds so I'm not like bouncing off your sound waves. Hold on.
Don't worry about my internet sucks. So
I don't think he understands your internet connection.
Yeah, he's not going to be the worst. He's not going to be the worst part of this at all.
Hey, while he's getting his earbuds, ladies and gentlemen, go to Silk City Hot Sauce right now. You heard me up top talk about it. Use the promo code Zumock, get 15% off your order and a free bottle of Cherry Ciroc. And do me a big favor. Go hit smash. Is that what you're supposed to say on YouTube? Smash the subscribe button. Is that what the kids are saying? Smash that button.
I think so. Yeah.
Smash that subscribe button. It's youtube.com/sitdownzumock. I'm putting up content daily, including the Sit Down Zumock podcast.
All right. I'm here.
Let's give you a proper introduction. Author, director. What else? What else you do? You do everything.
International podcaster, celebrity. Let's see.
Investigator.
Man about town.
Cool dude.
Beatboxer.
James, how you been, man?
I've been okay. I'm slowly starting to get out of my COVID lockdown. We opened the bunker a couple weeks ago, and I'm starting to get out and about again, which is nice. So I've got that going for me. How'd you handle COVID in Florida? Like one of the hot spots of the world.
I loved it. I was moving to New York City, and then I saw the lockdowns, and I said, I'm going to Florida. Because I always planned, this is always the end game anyway. Sure. I had like a 2-year plan in New York, and if I didn't hit those goals, I was just going to go to Florida because I fell in love with it, and it's been fine. Go ahead.
Are you down there in Del Boca Vista?
I'm in Tampa.
Oh, okay. Well,
I may or may not have COVID already. I don't know. I don't care.
You may have it right now. Did you get vaccinated? Did you get your shots?
No, because I should have had it by now.
Oh boy, Chad.
Yeah.
We gotta get you. We gotta get you set up. We gotta get you in there. Don't worry. They're gonna give you the shots, and then they'll be able to track you for the rest of your life.
I don't trust the government.
But then the 5G stuff won't affect you anymore. It's kind of like inoculates you for the 5G too. So you'll be okay.
I don't trust our government. I don't trust the world. Speaking of a guy what do you got going on right now? You're always into something, kind of like Dr. Trey. You're into something.
I've been working in TV in Hollyweird for the past 5 or 6 years now. But as you know, just because you're working there doesn't mean anybody's actually seen anything you've done. So I've been doing the development of TV series, and I write pilots. And then, they're inching closer into reality. I did a couple where they were shot down before the pilot shot. But just this last year, I was working on a project for Paramount called Blood Relative, based on an article I wrote about genetic genealogy. And that was going to be for Fox, and they got Melissa Leo to star in it, and Tate Donovan, who's wonderful, and all these great actors. And they shot this pilot in New Orleans in January of this year, and so I was super excited. So I finally got that far, but then Fox just passed on it about 2 weeks ago. So now it's back to the drawing board.
What happened to your Bradley Cooper TV show? Did that go through?
Yeah. So Bradley Cooper was interested in the first novel that I ever wrote, called The Man from Primrose Lane, which was about a down on his luck alt-weekly newspaper writer, former comedian from Kent State, who investigates a series of murders. So right, what you know type of thing. So he tried to turn it into a film. It didn't really work out. So it's been kind of kicking around Hollywood as a potential TV series, and there's some action. There's something in play with that, but I can't say any more. It's just too new and too exciting.
Really? So you got a gag order now? You got to be quiet. You don't want to jinx it?
I had to sign one of those NPRs, right?
Yeah.
So things are going well. I've just been doing the dad thing, as you can see, I've put on the COVID 20. And had a lot of fun doing it, by the way. That's I got some things on the horizon. I just finished up a new true crime book, but it probably won't be on shelves until late next year.
What's the new thing? Because I don't know if you know this, Tyler, but he's had his hands in everything. He was one of the, would you say, important parts of the Amy Mahalovac investigation?
I did dig up a lot of new clues and a couple new suspects for them. I still get tips on the Amy Mahalovac case, every day. So, I'm kind of divided in half. I've got.
Is the FBI still telling you to back off?
No, they're playing it pretty cool now.
All right.
I've got the true crime side of me, and then I've got the fun fiction fantasy side of me. And, I've kind of, it's fun doing two things, because the true crime gets a little tough, and then you can do fiction and take a little break. So yeah, I've just been kind of chipping away at all that. Oh, I know I started a nonprofit about a year ago called the Porchlight Project. And you can find that on, porchlightonline.org. And we raise money for new DNA testing and genetic genealogy for cold cases in Ohio. And we're on our third case now. And our first case was the 1987 unsolved murder of Barbara Blatnick. And you're from the area, so you know that Blossom Music Center, when I say it.
Yeah.
It's our big outdoor venue, the Red Rocks of the Cuyahoga, if you will. That's where they found her body in 87, a 16-year-old girl. And we tested DNA and used genetic genealogy and paid for it all for the Cuyahoga Falls police. And that led to an arrest of a man for that murder last May. So
really?
I'm out here solving cases, checking them off the board.
So what was this gentleman, the situation? Who was he containing?
Yeah, he wasn't on anybody's radar. So a little background on the Barbara Blatnick case. So like I said, she was a teenage girl, lived in Garfield Heights in 1987. She was kind of, known around the circles as a partier. She just liked, girls just want to have fun, Chad, So but like you look at her and she's that classic 80s look with the hair and the earrings, and she just wanted to have a fun time. So she went out one night with her friends. Her friends dropped her off at the corner of Grand Division and Turney, I think. And which is one of the major intersections in Garfield Heights. It was by her boyfriend's place. They dropped her off. She was going to walk to her boyfriend's, but then nobody ever saw her again. So something happened between that corner and her boyfriend's house. The boyfriend was kind of cleared early on. So they just didn't know who. And they found her body at Blossom Music Center the next day. So it was very quick between the time of the abduction and murder and everything. And under her fingernails, she had scratched this guy and so under her fingernails were some of the suspect's DNA. And so we paid for new DNA testing, and it came back. It was a mixture of the suspect's DNA and Barb's DNA. And the genetic genealogist went to work, and first they had to separate out Barb's DNA from that mixture. And what was left was the person that they believe killed Barbara Blatnick. And then they had to trace the genetic markers on that data. And then they had to trace it to a family tree. And they traced it to the Zastonic family that lived in Slavic Village. And then they narrowed it down to this James Zastonic, who happened to work not far from where Barb was found. And so everything kind of lined up with him. And so once the police verified that match by getting another DNA sample from him, they arrested him. And he's currently awaiting trial. It's been postponed because of COVID a couple times, but it should be happening soon, finally.
Did he have a record? Did he have a background?
He didn't really have a record, no. There was some minor incidents, but nothing to the level of rape or murder. But his whole family is kind of troubled. He has two brothers, and one of the brothers was in prison, I think even at the time, for related sex crimes. So, I think they're, it's a weird family, and this guy kind of went under the radar until DNA tracked him down.
How crazy is you commit a crime like that and you think you're in the clear, and then
right. And then
from out of nowhere.
They invent some sort of future technology that nobody could have even imagined when he committed the crime. Yeah. Do
you see more cases being solved because of the new technology and just stuff that's just been sitting around like for a long time? Oh yeah. I mean, the first case they did was the Golden State Killer, and that was a case that everybody thought was going to remain unsolved forever. And so they're trying to get the Zodiac right now using the same technology. And there's been so many cases just in the last year or two. There's other nonprofits like the DNA Doe Network that works on these things too. And they've had honestly, the technology's so good in the United States that if there's DNA at a crime scene, you might as well turn yourself in, because it's just a matter of time and funding before they figure out whose DNA that is and track you down and knock on your door at 5:00 in the morning. How come they can't nail the Amy Mihaljevic situation? How come that can't come to a close? Well, part of the issue with the Amy Mihaljevic case is they do have a couple hairs that they think could be from the killer, but the hairs are very degraded. So if you think of DNA as a ladder with 1,000 rungs on it, right? Well, all that they've managed to get the first time they tested the DNA was about 4 or 5 rungs. So it's not enough to match to somebody and say that this is the person we think is the killer, but it's enough to start ruling people out, because if they don't have those rungs in that order, then they couldn't have left those hairs. So that's what they've been doing, is trying to whittle down the list of suspects that way. And I've heard that they're recently retesting the DNA and using genetic genealogists out in California. So that would be what solves the case. Pretty much the only thing that could solve the case, short of confession at this point, or somebody else turning them in. So I'm hopeful. What are some of the little things that you have found out since then? I mean, we've talked about it. So yeah. Well, the big news, everybody was talking about this new suspect. I think it was, I think Channel 5 got the scoop, but the police had filed paperwork in court locally so that they could get a search warrant for this guy's storage shed, I think, or storage bin. So somehow this reporter got tipped off on it, or just found it, and was like, oh my gosh,
this is the most that Bay Village police have done in a while. This must be a really important suspect. And started looking at him. And so we got some information from that. And this is a new guy that nobody was really looking at before. And his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend turned him in, said she thought he might have had something to do with it. The big piece of circumstantial evidence that links this guy to Amy's case is that, so Amy was 11 years old at the time, and she was abducted from Bay Village on a Friday afternoon. And then her body was found in Ashland County on the side of a road, very desolate road. Now, the day that they found her body, about 3 months after she went missing, the FBI had placed agents around that road. And every time a car drove past, they wrote down the license plate number. And apparently, when this new suspect got on their radar, they went back and looked at those license plates and were able to match one of those license plates to a car that he had driven at the time. Oh, which places him at the scene of the recovery of the body. And when they asked him, they're like, what were you doing down there that day? And he was kind of like, oh, it wasn't me. There was a guy that was staying with me and working with me at the time, and he must have borrowed my car or something. So like a really shady answer, and he had no business being down there. And and he's from Bay Village, looks kind of like the composite sketch. Strange dude. Right now he's homeless, living out of his car somewhere on the west side of Cleveland, moving around every day. But I think the FBI kind of keeps tabs on him. Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. What about you? What's going? How's the Sunshine State? Enough about me. What do you think about me? No. What's going on down there? Are the comedy clubs open yet? Yeah, full capacity. It's hilarious how individual states are handling this. It's really. I don't, it is, I don't know. It's open. It's just pretty much open. And I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I'm loving it. Do you still get are the laughs still like pre-COVID laughs? Is everybody still kind of like on edge? No, it's actually the audience have been better, because if you're going to a comedy club now, you really want to go so you want to get the fuck out. You want to laugh, and the laughs are bigger. And everyone's talking about this whole PC, all this, it's not the same in the comedy clubs. The more inappropriate, the better. They want to laugh. And great. It's just the online world is making this false reality of what really is going on. You're the guy they can't cancel. You're uncancelable. I already canceled myself. Like when I moved out of Los Angeles, I said, I'm canceled. So good luck. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I before COVID hit, I had put together like a true crime stand-up, and I had done the East Coast. I started out at Zany's and did the East Coast thing, and then I did the West Coast 6 months later, and I loved it. I love being back up on stage. I want to do more of that. Well, I got to open for you in San Francisco. You remember in Sacramento? Yeah. Oh my God, it seems like forever ago, right? It was fun. You did in Sacramento, right? Yeah. That was a great time. That was the San Francisco show. Not their fault. My fault for booking it on a day that nobody wanted to come out. So it was kind of rough in San Francisco, but Sacramento was a great show. That was fun. That was a great time. No, it was a cool thing. You're going to go around doing that again? Because that was a great idea. I think so. I've also had this idea that maybe I'll go around and just for shits and giggles, just redo people's acts from the 80s with total earnesty and sincerity, starting with like John Panette, and do the, you've been here for an hour, you big boy, you go home now. You're going to be a cover comedian, a cover band comedian. Yeah. Has anybody ever done that before? Or would I be the first? Yeah, it's called stealing. Yeah,
Carlos Mencia has been there. He's done that.
Yeah, Mencia's he's the Godfather. He kind of he has that market cornered.
Aw. That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, Tyler,
Right.
our background, honestly, I started kind of indirectly doing comedy with James back in college at TV2. We had a public access TV show called Last Call, which turned into Last Call Cleveland and became a sketch group. And now it's just called Mike Polk Jr.
Oh, come on now. Come on. Mike Polk's a good friend of mine. And one day I will, I don't know, who knows? Let's move on.
Yeah. No, but those are my formative years of comedy. That's where I would learn to do things. And, that's where I was the most creative. I feel like in my mind, that was the best back then.
Oh my gosh. We had no idea. I think I tried not to take it for granted, but I had no idea that it was as awesome as it was, and that it was as fleeting as it was. But that was the best time running that TV show out of Kent State. And, the days where we used to have to run out VHS tapes to the Cat, so they could air it on channel 35, which nobody watched. And that was good times.
Well, what's funny is because I always tell people, because we were on TV nightly on Portage County, Time Warner. It was channel 16 we were on. And at the time, Sports Center was on channel 17. That's when Sports Center was at its height with Dan Patrick, Keith Olbermann. Right. I remember everyone watched Sports Center. So you would accidentally just watch our show because we're right there. So some people let's watch this. So we'd be on from 9 to midnight, and it was on like weekdays, and it was huge. I remember I'd go out to like Rockneys in Kent and people would recognize me.
I know.
Very weird.
It was great. But at the same time, it was we were very famous in a very small, concentrated area. It was probably about 10 square miles, but boy.
Portage County.
Wait, so did you all go to Kent together then? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kent Reed, Kent Wright, Kent State. No, they've been very nice. They've been very nice. I don't know if you knew this, Chad, but I went back there a couple years ago and was teaching English comp.
I did not know that.
To like freshmen and sophomores. I was in the trenches. And I did that for, I don't know, like a year and a half. And it was a lot of fun. I'd love to do it again sometime. I got busy with like the writing started picking up. And so I was able to just do that. But yeah, I taught for a little while just to supplement and get some cash going in. But I was teaching there in University of Akron, English comp.
For a guy who you wear many, many hats, my friend.
Every day I'm hustling. You got to be.
I get it. I don't know if you know this, but according to Wikipedia, I'm a Kent State notable alumni. I'm just saying.
Oh, really?
It's there.
I'm an alumni, but I don't have the notable marking. I got to get do you have the blue checks like on Twitter and Instagram?
I don't have Instagram. I have everyone else. I don't know how it works or.
You didn't have to you didn't have to track down Matt from MySpace and get the check.
No, I got the blue check when I was on the radio. It just appeared one day. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess that's who I am now. But the Instagram one, I don't know. That's, I don't have that yet.
Other than that, I've just, I'm doing the dad thing, man. I got like my son's about to turn 14. I'm going to have a high schooler.
Jesus.
Which is because there's still this part of me that identifies as a 21-year-old college kid from Kent State who hang out at the doghouse and drink dollar beers and stay out till 2 and wake up in my own puke and is somebody else's Afro wig. But I have responsibilities now, which is weird.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part about me because I've never got married. I know, Tyler, you have kids. I never had a kid. So now I'm at this age where my friends' kids are going to high school and it's kind of weird. I'm like, whoa.
Right.
For me, it's just like, wow, that's weird.
It's weird watching them become their own little people. And every once in a while they'll like say something that I said at that age. And it's like, you just really see how things repeat and, hopefully they don't make the same mistakes. It's all about avoiding the same mistakes that you made at that age. But it's, my daughter's going to be 9. And so, she's in softball now. So I'm the softball dad with the collapsible chair and just sit there and, hey, nice hit. Or, a little early. You're a little early on that one. I don't know anything about sports.
Yeah. Now,
nice hat trick.
Does your kids have the true crime bug in them or anything that you're interested in?
Casey does, my son. Yeah. He talks to me about some of these murders and gives me his theories. But he wants to become a defense lawyer when he grows up.
Oh, I might need him.
Well, I totally see it as an investment in my future as well. Yes, please do that. It's like that, the kid of Tony Soprano that goes legit, so he can get in on the inside, I guess. But yeah.
I know your interests are all over the place, but I love talking to you about the true crime stuff and some of the stuff on Netflix. I mean, is there like one of the ones that stick out to you that fascinates you to this day?
Yeah. I mean, all of them, I got to be very careful because when they come out with a new documentary, it's kind of like somebody coming out with a new drug and they're going up to the, it's like, that scene in The Wire where they bust out the new pills and they're like, hey buddy, you got to check this out. Yeah. And then, I'm the stupid guy. I'm like, no, I just quit. All right. Give me a hit. I'll see. Oh, this is good stuff. And then I'm stuck in and I get obsessed again. So, the one I really liked was, the Elisa Lam case. Did you watch this?
Which one's that?
To me, I think it's the best evidence of demonic possession that I've ever seen.
Really?
But everybody's like, she's having a mental.
What's her name? Lisa Lam?
Elisa. Yeah. Elisa Lam. Okay. Elisa Lam. And there's video footage of her getting on an elevator at this creepy old hotel.
Oh, is this the one in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the doors wouldn't close.
Yeah.
And she's like looking out and looking around and, she's waving her hands around and then her body's found in the water tank on the roof. And I don't think she could have had the strength to open that up and get in there and the way she did and gone undetected. So,
the Cecil Hotel, that's what it's called.
Yeah. That's a scary case. So, it's probably a mental situation, but it sure gives you the creeps when you watch the video.
Yeah. I've yet to see that, but I'm very familiar with it. But you think there's some sort of more at play with like demonic possession or maybe drugs? I don't know. It
would be one of those cases that would be like in the filler weeks of X-Files back in the 90s where they just did a whole bunch of alien stuff and then they got to do like these standalone episodes and and Scully's like, clearly she had a mental breakdown and did some drugs. And Fox Mulder's like, I don't know. There's enough evidence here, probably demonic possession. And you don't really know at the end of the day. So I'm going to just say I want to believe. I don't know for sure.
What about The Staircase? Did you watch that series?
The Owl did it. It was the Owl.
It was the Owl? He's okay. I was trying.
Did you hear that theory though on The Staircase?
I did. I refresh everyone's memory.
Yeah, just this guy, his wife was found dead at the bottom of the staircase at their house. And, they started on, looking into everything. He said, he didn't know what happened. And she was just like that when he got there. And so they looked into him and he's having this like affair, with his gay lover. And it just became this wild story. And but there's this theory that an owl got into the house and attacked her at the top of the stairs. And like the owl kind of like caused her to fall and tumble to her death. And because apparently they were like, I don't know, feathers or like owl dust or something. And it managed to get out again, kind of like David Bowie in Labyrinth. Mm-hmm. So was that who it was? I think it was. But yeah, no. So yeah, that's the owl theory. Do you watch any of these? Are you a true crime guy?
I'm starting to get into it, and a lot of it's because of you. So I'm more or less interested because of my friend and his investigations and his books. And So it wasn't Michael Peterson that killed his wife.
No, it probably was.
Stephen Avery. Stephen Avery, is he guilty?
For making a murder?
Yeah.
No, I think he's innocent. Honestly, I legit think he's innocent. I think there's some weird stuff involving, members of the extended family, but no, I don't think he did it. I mean, how stupid would you be? You just got out of prison for a crime you didn't commit, and then the first thing you do is go and murder somebody. I don't.
He never came off as the brightest guy throughout the whole docuseries, though. So that's where it was like, well, I
don't know. I just without a doubt, even if he did it, the police were totally dirty up there, planting evidence and doing all sorts of shady stuff. That's a wild one. What I'm the big news that I'm waiting for, though, is next. I don't know if you're aware of this, Chad. But next month, the Pentagon has to release what they know about aliens and UFOs.
Really?
So yes, I'm waiting. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to come out and basically say, yeah, there's stuff in the air. We don't know what it is either. And here's the big thing that's going to come out of it. I think they're going to say, and we've recovered some material and we can't identify it. So they're not going to come out and say it's extraterrestrial. They're not going to say it's interdimensional or time travelers or something. They're just it's mostly going to say, hey, we don't know. We've been looking at this evidence for 50 years now and we can't figure it out. And I think it's going to be big news for a couple days. And then people are going to be like, all right. And it's going to be no big deal. And all this time we thought like, well, if we release this information, it's going to cause worldwide panic. The Catholic Church is going to implode. And I think if anything that we've learned from COVID, it's how little people care about any of the big stuff that's going on. I think they're going to be like, all right.
They've also done a great job of just like slow rolling some information out. Right. So they've done a great job of prepping you for that. But like, if you ever watched like any of like Bob Lazar's stuff, it's like, I don't think he's lying about the shit that he's worked on. Right. So like, if you cared up to this point, then you've probably already seen some of these documentaries and you kind of already know that like we probably have some material that we can't explain and that sort of stuff just based off of that. So when it comes out though, like you're going to have the general populations like, well, yeah, but like, I just really care about what the next filter is on Instagram more than this.
Right. Exactly.
My thing is how come we don't have, it's always a grainy photo. Where's the clear cut photo with today's technology? How come we can't, it's always just a muffled thing. It's just like,
right.
They said they have that. But they're supposed to release what they know. There's absolutely no way that they're going to release it all though. So like the things that you're seeing now are like 100 yards away, like at its closest. I've heard that they have footage from like 50 feet away. There's no way that they're going to release it though. There's just no way, right?
I want to see that.
Of course.
That's when I'd get excited. If I were writing this, I've been thinking about this a lot, and like, here's the ending that I would give to all this, that here's what would happen. So they come out and announce that this is real, and the aliens decide, okay, they found us. We have to come out and say something. So they're like, okay, let's set up a meeting between our top leader and the leader of the free world. And so, they're coming, and it's going to take, it's like they're a couple months out, and they start sending signals, and they're like, okay, we'd love to meet some, we seeded life on this planet a long time ago, and it was an experiment in peace and an opportunity. And we just want to meet our, the things that we put in action long ago. And then there's this big reveal, and the alien leader's a Native American, and he's coming back looking for the rest of his people. And everybody's like, uh-oh. And we have to like turn out all the lights before he gets here and pretend we're not home. He's like, hey, you up? You up? You there? No, anyways, and then it cuts to black and directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
See, I assume that Jeff Bezos was the liaison between us and the aliens. So
he sure looks like something else. Yeah.
Damn right.
Do you believe there's some alien forms out there?
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think, the chances that they're close enough to pay us a personal visit are pretty low. There's definitely, there's something in the air these days, that they captured off of San Diego, the USS Nimitz, that they're calling UAPs or UFOs. I don't know that I think I'm in the minority, because I think what we're seeing might not be extraterrestrial. I've been leaning more and more towards, and this is where I start losing my journalistic integrity. If people from the true crime space are also listening here, because I think there's much more evidence that they could be time travelers or interdimensional of some sort. So that's my grand theory. But of course, yeah, I believe in aliens. Heck yeah.
Interesting. Do you believe they eat Reese's Pieces?
I mean, who wouldn't? Yeah, it'd be funny if that's how, we send a kid to greet them with that. And, it becomes this big cultural phenomenon. They think it's a big part of a culture, but it's just a reference to an 80s movie.
So funny. No, as I get older, I'm open to anything at this point. I've seen so much crazy stuff. I was just like, yeah, why not? It's probably aliens. Who cares? Yeah, bring them out.
It's a cookbook. It's a cookbook.
James, what else you got going on? Is there anything else you want to plug?
Well, let's see. I'll be at the Laugh Factory hey, did I ever tell you, the last time I was in LA, I went to the Laugh Factory, and there was a guy that I remember from when they used to have the
Michael Richards.
No, it was I wasn't there that night. No, where they used to do stand up on, when there were only 3 channels on TV, and there was stand up on Saturday nights or Friday nights late at night. I think it was maybe channel 19. But anyways, I remember one of these comics doing his set, and I used to study them, and I was really excited because he was performing as one of the first comedians of the evening, and he came out and he did the same set from 1992.
Wow!
And it didn't have the
Who
best
was it?
shelf
Tim
life.
Allen?
I can't remember, and I shouldn't even say it if I do remember. It wasn't Tim Allen. It was somebody that never really had their own show or anything like that. And but some of the jokes were like homophobic and slightly racist, the way that they were in the early 90s, but not played for shock value, just kind of we all agree that gay is funny right now. And it was just very weird. The weirdest thing, though, was they were eating it up. I mean, it was some of the biggest laughs of the night. Well, and they didn't realize that this is recycled material from 30 years ago.
Can I give you my theory on this?
Yes, please.
It's possible.
Being in the biz?
Possible he's a time traveler. And he's just doing what he did yesterday in a different world.
Right. He should have checked the clock. He should. I bet he got back that night. He's like, oh my God, it's 2018, son of a bitch. I should have done something different.
Great Scott!
I've been here.
Just gonna say that.
Been here 4 hours. You go now.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta update your act. That's what I'm.
How do you? What's your? We've never talked about this, but what's your process? Do you carry around a notepad, and do you think about funny stuff, or just wait for something to happen and then write it down? Or
I was just in Naples over the weekend at Off the Hook, and I was talking to the general manager, and they asked me the same thing, and I'm like, I don't have one. I remember distinctively writing out set lists before I went on stage and studying them, what I'm going to open with and close. But as you do it, I'm going into my 18th year now doing it consistently.
Wow.
That you develop some sort of weird muscle memory, and for me, I just want to know what I'm going to start with. Okay, what am I going to come out of the gates with? All right, and I'll go up there and I'll figure it out as I go because it almost seems spontaneous because I'm thinking about it on the fly. I don't know where I'm going, so it comes off like it's fresh, and that's
that would stress me out. Like going up there without a solid plan. Like I mean, I'm impressed. That's great. I'd freak the hell out.
The only time it bit me in the ass, because I've been getting up consistently for a long, long time, is right when we got back from COVID. I had moved down here. I had not been on stage in 2 months.
Right.
So Side Splitters, my home club here, I went on stage with that mindset, and I'm like, then I just like blanked because I was no. Because I don't have the reps and were I able to do that.
Right.
So yeah, that bit me in the ass. I was like, you got to be getting up consistently in order to do that. But
right.
Yeah. So, but that's how I like to operate. That's my process. Cause I have, 2 hours of jokes in my head. I'll figure out where to go.
That's great.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go into a joke I haven't told in years. I'm like, okay, how's this thing go? As we're doing it.
Right.
So this could be ugly. But and when it comes to writing, I just jot down notes, ideas, or I'll say something in my voice memo. Like,
okay. Yeah. Sure.
So here, let me see if I got something in here.
Note to self.
Yeah, exactly. Who said that, by the way?
Your opener, Norm Macdonald.
Oh, that's right. My opener. Like, look, here's a dumb, this is what I'll say. This is kind of embarrassing, but I don't care. I've never had a kid, but yet I have a dad bod. So I just like record stuff like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Then I got a joke that's not working. I got this, I learned a new workout during COVID. It was called P90 extra cheese. It doesn't work.
No, I love it because it's so stupid. Okay, I have a beginning of a joke, and I'd like to see where what you think I should do to complete it.
Yeah.
Can we do this exercise?
Okay, yeah, let's be fun. Let's
work on my short game.
Tyler's good at jokes.
So it dawned on me the other day that my Julie, Julie, my wife.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we go back. Julie loves tea, and she uses honey in her tea, right? But every time I go in the cupboard for the honey, it's like you can't handle honey without getting sticky.
Yeah.
And so it dawned on me the other day, like, why aren't bees sticky? You never bump into a sticky bee. They never stick to anything. They don't stick to the flower. Why aren't bees sticky?
That's interesting.
So there's a beginning, but what's the end? How do you bring it around? Why? The joke is, why aren't bees sticky? But how do you land it?
I'm trying to use.
Unless you do the deadpan Stephen Wright. Why aren't bees sticky?
Yeah,
that was a terrible impression. That was more like Seinfeld. Why aren't bees sticky?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Right. They're around honey all day. They never get sticky. There you go. That's what I got. I just got to turn it into Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Bees should be more sticky.
Man,
You keep writing the jokes. I'll keep writing the true crime books.
All right.
How's that?
Speaking of which, before I let you go, James, I'm honestly thinking about writing a book. I just been writing a lot lately.
Okay.
And with self-publishing and all that, you have any tips on what I should do?
Would this be a memoir? Would you be writing your memoirs?
I think it was.
Or are you going to be gritty and honest about everything that's happened in your life?
Everything. And I want to make it somewhat of a memoir, but I want to make it so you don't even have to know who I am.
Okay.
Like, for an interest. And I think I want to specifically write around just my problems with alcohol over the years and the many adventures it sent me on, good and bad.
Right.
And I have so many crazy stories that has been. So I want to take these horrible stories, but these awesome stories too, and just kind of present them because I've had some crazy moments around booze.
Tentative title from sit down Zumock to stand up Zumock.
There you go.
There you go. I'll take 10%. Thank you very much.
My working title is grown ass man boy.
No, I think if you're serious, first of all, I think you've got a lot of material to mine, and I think if done correctly, people would want to read it, and you've got to build an audience. So why not? If you're gonna do the memoir, the thing is just to be, the guy that inspires me a lot is Spalding Gray.
Oh, of course.
And yeah. And he did these long form stories that were kind of comedic, the way that the couple popular comics do these days. And like Birbiglia, and you can tell Birbiglia studied Spalding Gray. And the thing about Gray that made him unique is he was open and honest to like almost to a level of fetish, where he couldn't stop telling the deepest, darkest things about himself. And so I would just say, that's what made him popular, because he was taking it further than anybody would. So I would just be completely 100% open and honest about, all the faults and all the crazy misadventures, and not try to make yourself look good, because, that'll come out of the process anyways. I think anybody that reads a story about a person's life will walk away realizing that they're a complicated but deep down good person, no matter how much stuff they share, because everybody knows that even though most people on social media try to pretend to be these perfect people, deep down inside, we know the dark thoughts that we have, and the crazy things that we've done, and the stupid stuff that we've gotten involved in. And so it's always refreshing when somebody is open about that, because then it gives them the opportunity to be open too, and not be, shamed and everything like that. So
no, it's good advice. I want it to be unapologetic and just in your face, and this is what it is, and this is what happened, and and you live your life, you keep living, and that's what it is. You try to learn.
Yes. And also, the thing that you have going for you is you understand stand-up comedy from the inside and from living it. And that's a process that a lot of people don't understand, but want to know. Everybody, I think a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people have fantasies of going up on stage and doing stand-up, but they're terrified to even try it. And so if you were to, through these stories, explain the process of what it's like to be a stand-up comedian in present day, people like reading process. That's why in the true crime series, people love reading about the process of investigations, love reading about the process of how a trial works. And so you would take that same that same idea and put it into the world of stand-up and show that process, what it's like to write how you get material, how you write it, what it's like to bomb, be on stage, and, these older comedians that are dicks behind the scenes, and the nice ones, what really happens there.
Yeah, no, it's good notes. I appreciate that little insight there. You got the little mouse on the wheel going right now in my head.
Sure. Good.
Tyler, you got anything you want to say before we roll out of here?
No, I have plenty of things, but it's so inside baseball just from a documentary standpoint, because that's something that I'm working on now, where it would just be boring for this. So what documentary are you working on? I'm working on one just in the tri-state Cincinnati area, about a spine surgeon that did surgeries that were not needed, basically for cash. Hospitals hit it, all that sort of stuff. It's like there's the Dr. Death podcast out there, and it's like that, but just multiplied because of all the hospitals that allowed it, over 1,000 plus patients, that sort of stuff,
right?
And eventually fled to Pakistan, where he's still doing surgeries, same sort of way over there. It's an incredible story, but I'm just about done with the first episode. There's probably going to be around 10.
Wow.
It goes beyond him. It goes into the legal battles, how the court systems kind of kick it down the road as well. And so all of my questions come from story writing to when it comes to distribution, all that sort of stuff. So sure. Again, like I said, a lot of boring things for a podcast or a podcast listener, but
feel free to hit me up over email or something.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Yeah. It's a fascinating story for sure.
It sounds pretty wild.
James, you got some documentaries under your belt, right?
I've done a couple things in that area. The last one I did, I don't even want to talk about it because it's not out there because the guy that owns the rights is a total jerk. But I did one on treasure hunting. There was this book that came out in the 1980s called The Secret, a treasure hunt. The guy
the one you were working with Edders on?
Yeah. We were going around the country because this guy in 82 buried these keys all around the country, and he left clues to find these keys within paintings and poems that appear inside this book called The Secret. Not the secret self-help book, but The Secret Treasure Hunt. And Jeff and I and a couple other guys, we traveled the country trying to find these lost keys. And spoiler alert, we did not find them. It's stupid hard. But if you're interested, check it out online because there's still 9 keys out there unaccounted for, and you can turn them in for like a gem that's worth about, I don't know, $1,000 or so if you win it.
Interesting. What was the thing I did with Winnie Cooper and you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did. That was my first experience with a celebrity of any kind.
Danica McKellar. What's her name?
Danica McKellar. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for Project Greenlight. And I decided to enter a short film that was kind of almost like a Curb Your Enthusiasm about making a short film. And I tracked down Winnie Cooper's, Danica McKellar's agent, and told him what was going on. I'm like, hey, would she just be in the scene? It would take like an hour, and I'll set it up and everything. And she said yes. So that was super fun. Yeah, I got to shoot this little scene with her and a couple of her friends, and that got me into like the semifinals of Project Greenlight. But I didn't end up winning that contest. But I talked my way onto as a member of the crew on set when they did shoot the film, the Project Greenlight film, coincidentally called Battle of Shaker Heights. Shaker Heights being, a suburb of Cleveland. And if you ever watch season 2 of Project Greenlight, if you ever watch season 2, I was very aware of where the camera was at all time, and I just wanted to be in the TV show. So I knew when Ben Affleck came to set that we were definitely going to see that scene. So if you watch any scene with Ben Affleck, you'll see me in the background with the box, and I walk across going that way, and then I turn and I walk across going that way until the scene's over. So I look like I'm busy, but I'm not doing anything.
It's kind of like Pee Wee Herman and Pee Wee's Big Adventure, where he's trying to get in between. He's trying to get of Josh Brolin and whoever.
I'm a rebel, Dottie. I'm a loner, Dottie.
Oh, by the way, do you know I met Dottie?
No.
She came to one of my shows in Hollywood.
No, get out.
I swear to God.
Did you recognize her?
I did not recognize her. And she just came up to me. She's like, oh my God, you're so funny. And she introduced herself. And I'm just like looking at her. I was like, you look familiar. She's like, oh, I played Dottie. And like, she told me right away who she was. Okay. I was like, holy shit. I got a photo with her on Facebook, but she was really nice. She was so hot. Yeah. Yeah. She's still pretty cute for an older lady.
I'll bet. I love that movie. My kids just found it. A couple months ago. We watched that, and then Big Top Pee-wee. Yeah, Big Top, it started to go downhill, but yeah, it is what it is. Well, James, thank you so much. Where can people follow you on social media? I'm sure they're already following you. If not, best place to go is just jamesrenner.com. You also find on there my code for Silk City hot sauce. Ooh, shout out to Jeff Levine. Right. So we have dueling Silk City hot sauce codes. Oh, okay. But yeah, no, thanks for introducing us. I love that hot sauce. I love, honestly, and I'm not just saying this. I think your sauce is my favorite. The Mango Madness. Are you on the mango?
Yeah. Z-Man's Mango Madness.
I had some last night. Julie makes this like fried cauliflower tacos. Yeah. And it's delicious on that.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Aaron Berg? Suck it with your Big Jew hot sauce. That's what it's called. I'm not trying to be, again, I'm already canceled, so it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Tyler, anything else? I'm going to get out of here. You guys ready?
No, man. No. Thanks. Thanks for including me on this.
No, absolutely, guys.
Nice to meet you, Tyler.
Back at you.
Yeah.
Chad, as always.
We will see you, and I want to talk to you non-podcasting sometime.
Okay, sounds good. And if you ever need bailed out, just it's a 16-hour car ride. I'm there.
I think I'm going to be good to go.
Okay, good.
I appreciate it, though. I'll talk to you soon.